What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is April. I am a mom to two boys, one who's 3, one who's a little over 1. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about something that is very important to me. And I really hope that this video helps any new moms or women who are about to become moms or who are hoping to become moms, because there's a lot about becoming a mom that I wish I had known, or at least had spent more time preparing for before I became a mom. So that's what this video is going to be about, and if that is something that interests you, please stick around and watch and give this video a thumbs up, please, as it really helps my channel. And don't forget to subscribe for more mom motivation and inspiration and just tips on being your absolute best self for you and your family. Let's get into the video. So there's a lot of things that I started to kind of brainstorm that I wanted to know before becoming a mom. So I'm gonna try to focus on the things that really had an impact on me as becoming a mom that I wish I had known and prepared for. The first thing that I reference a lot, if you've watched any of my other videos since becoming a mom, is the loss of freedom. So people always tell you, oh, like, you won't be able to do that when you're a mom, or you won't be able to do that when you have kids or whatever, but like, it doesn't really hit home to what extent you aren't able to do things as a mom when you have especially a newborn, because a newborn literally is attached to you almost 24/7. Especially if you're breastfeeding, it's like you are basically just a milk dispenser and a comfort zone for that little tiny baby, and it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, becoming a mom is very beautiful, and we're going to talk more about that later in this video, but it is hard in so many ways that it's almost hard to articulate enough to help someone really understand until you're there as a mom doing it yourself. So the loss of freedom for me, I just remember it was a huge deal because I'm a very independent person. I would consider myself a free spirit. I'm social. I like to be out. I'm very into different things. I have different hobbies. I like to change it up. I don't like doing the same thing all the time. I'm active. So when I had Isaiah, my firstborn, it was like all of a sudden I was on house arrest. And there's many reasons for this, but the main reason is if you're trying to breastfeed, you're breastfeeding almost all day, all night, especially in those first few weeks, because you have to establish your milk supply, and the baby doesn't have a very big stomach, so they drink very often. And if you're pumping on top of that, that takes time. Like when you're not nursing, then you're pumping and you're like stuck to the machine, unless you get those fancy mobile wireless pumps, which I didn't have. And I don't even know how well they really work, but I would recommend them for somebody to at least try, so that you're not just constantly stuck in one spot all the time. It is a drain on your mental energy and just your overall morale. The loss of freedom, plus just getting out of the house with a baby, even now with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, getting out of the house is it's like herding cats. I'm sure you've heard that saying before, but it is like sometimes the emotional and energy toll it takes just to get out of the house isn't worth whatever it is that we have to do or want to do that day. Like sometimes I just stay in the house and I won't take the kids anywhere. And sometimes I do that several days in a row, even though I know that that affects my mental health. But sometimes I would rather that, I would rather that kind of burden over the burden and the stress and the fatigue I experience from just trying to get the kids dressed, make sure they've gone to the restroom, make sure they have clean diapers, make sure they have this, make sure they have snacks. Are we running late? Are we even gonna have time to spend once we get to the place we're going to have fun? Or are we just gonna have to turn around and come back home? Are they gonna be screaming in the car the whole way? Like, it's a lot. And you don't know all these little things before you're a mom until you're like in the trenches experiencing them. So I'm trying to tell you now, it is an adjustment for sure. Just learning how to work through those issues, and also just making the time for yourself to have time for yourself. So I think all of those things really tie back to just loss of freedom. Freedom to spend time getting ready, freedom to take a shower, freedom to eat a meal in peace, freedom to go to the restroom in peace, freedom to come and go as you please, freedom to decide if you want to work or if you want to stay home, because sometimes whatever your situation is in, it dictates for you what you're going to have to do. Maybe you're not in a position to stay home even though you really want to. You have to work. So you don't have the freedom to choose anymore. It's like you got a baby to take care of and make sure that they live and survive. And so you have to do what you have to do to make that happen. So there's a loss of freedom in that sense as well. So I'm going to stop there and I'm just going to tell you, loss of freedom in any and every way you can pretty much imagine, you will experience once you become a mom. And that leads me into the next huge change from becoming a mom, and that is a change in identity. This one is a little more abstract, obviously, but I think this one is even bigger than the loss of freedom. I mean, it's your identity. Like, how do you get any bigger than that? And it's a slow process, I feel like, when you become a mom. So it doesn't like hit you all at once. It's like you start to notice it more and more the longer you are a mom. Even now, 3 years into the game, my identity is still changing, but it's getting easier to embrace the new identity that I'm creating or that I'm becoming, if that makes sense. At first, there's a lot of resistance, I feel like, because, well, I didn't expect it. I had no one had mentioned to me the loss of identity. I think I had read little snippets of it here and there on like Instagram posts, but I hadn't heard about like, let me try to think of some solid examples to give you. This is something that might seem kind of superficial, but it was a very big hurdle for me. And that was my identity of how I wanted to look on a day-to-day basis. I don't think I'm like super high maintenance when it comes to like putting on makeup and doing my hair and getting dressed, but those are things I enjoy doing as a woman, especially like for my man, for my husband. And when I became a mom, again, you're just like thrown into this newborn life, and it does not give you a lot of time and flexibility to do those things anymore. I mean, you're lucky if you get a shower in like a week, okay? Literally a week. And so not being able to do like the self-care and like pampering habits that I had before was really hard on my self-confidence, and that then trickled into how I acted around my husband, around others, and that like did something to me, you know, like that changes you as a person, not in a good way, if you're insecure about how you look all the time, if that makes sense. So if I would wake up in the morning, you know, and I had a newborn to breastfeed 24/7, and I wasn't showering, I wasn't shaving my legs, I wasn't putting on makeup, I wasn't even brushing my hair, let alone like doing my self-tan routine or getting my nails done or getting my eyelashes put on, or whatever the things that you do now so often that just feel like the regular thing you do to make yourself feel pretty and cute and confident. Throw those out the freaking window, dude, because you're not gonna be able to do them as often as you used to, probably, most likely. At least for a few months, maybe. And again, this all comes back to like this comes back to prioritizing what's really important for you. And for me, a lot of those things were things I just felt like I had to let go of for the meantime, in order to survive and like take care of my kids the way I wanted to take care of them. So that was something that really changed my identity, because now, 3 years later, as a mom, I feel fine most days just going around wherever with no makeup, hair in a bun for like the 30th day in a row. I'm showering more often now, I will say. I can do that. But I'm not like putting makeup on most days. And I'm not putting on cute outfits, like hardly ever. Honestly, the only time I put cute outfits on now is when I schedule a night out with the girls or a night out with my husband or like some kind of event. So maybe like once or twice a month, I'm actually putting on real clothes. Other than that, I am all about functionality. Like I'm wearing workout clothes almost every single day, because to me, what's important now is getting my workouts in. And if that means I have to work out whenever I have the chance throughout the day, I better be ready to work out when that chance comes. So I wake up, I put on workout clothes, hoping that I'm going to get a workout in at some point. And most of the time, I never change out of those workout clothes until I shower and get in my pajamas. So those are all things that were very important to me that I didn't even realize were that important to me, honestly, because I didn't feel like makeup was like a huge part of my identity. But when you can't put any makeup on, like, or it just feels too overwhelming or too stressful to try to do that, and so you just don't, and you're doing that several days in a row, it, like I said, it just does something to your self-confidence at first, and it's something you have to get used to, you have to get over, and it has to become the new norm. So in a certain ways, a lot of the loss of identity is good, because, you know, I don't have these crutches anymore. I feel like I'm a more confident person as my true self than I was before, but it took a lot of work and it took a lot of time and it was hard. Okay, and I wasn't necessarily like trying to do that either, if that makes sense. So there's only one more thing that I want to talk about, but it's probably gonna be long-winded. So far, the main things I've said I wasn't prepared for becoming a mom was loss of freedom and a change in identity. The change in identity is hard, but it's also, I think, the most beautiful part of becoming a mom. Why do I feel like crying right now when I talk about this? I think motherhood is literally like becoming a butterfly. Before I was a mom, all I had to worry about in life was me, myself. I don't have younger siblings. I didn't grow up with kids around, so it might have been a little bit harder for me becoming a mom and having to take care of somebody else. A lot of people out there, maybe you're one of them, have been a caretaker in the past or throughout your life at some point, so it might not be as hard. For me, it was very hard. Having to literally prioritize somebody else 24/7 over myself was really hard. But I think it has made me a much better person. And there are some reasons I'm going to explain why. When you become a mom and you have a bigger purpose in life, you have this other person who is 100% relying on you. And for me, that made me want to be the absolute best person I could possibly be, which is part of the reason I created this channel, because I just feel like as a mom, I have to be the best person I possibly can be in every single way. There has never been any other challenge in my life that has pushed me or forced me to up level my life in so many ways, in like so quickly. Obviously, every obstacle you overcome, every challenge you accomplish, you're up leveling yourself in your life in some format. But as a mom, if you take it as seriously as you should, because it is the most important job you will have your entire life, there will be no other time in your life where personal growth happens so quickly and so like to such a high level. Anything you don't want to have happen or you don't want your kid to be or experience is something you're gonna have to change in yourself. If you don't want your kid to have bad manners, you better not have bad manners. If you don't want your kid to yell at you when he's angry, you better not be yelling at your kid. If you don't want your kid to give up on things super easily, then you better be showing your child how you work on something for a long period of time, day in, day out, regardless of if it's giving you instant gratification or if it's, you know, causing you stress or if it's super hard. They are going to be watching you as their number one role model. And I mean, it's just crazy how much you change becoming a mom. Your priorities shift, your values shift, your beliefs shift. I was a party girl. I was super into fitness. I was all about career growth. I was trying to build my own business. I was doing all these things before I became a mom. And then all of a sudden, it was like so many things switched for me. I didn't want to work anymore. I wanted to be home with my kids. What I'm trying to say is becoming a mom is super hard. And there's going to be things that you're not prepared for. There's going to be things that make you question if you made the right choice, if this is something you really want to be doing. But in the end, I am fully confident that you will choose that this is what you should be doing. This is actually what you were put on earth to do. And that is going to give you so much more clarity in what is truly important for you and your family. And that is something that a lot of people go through their whole lives not really grasping or identifying with. So it truly is a blessing. I think that motherhood is so rewarding in so many ways, other than just watching your child grow and like become their own person. I think it's truly rewarding because of how much we grow as women and as leaders for our family, for our community, for our extended families. You're just gonna be like the best version of you ever because you just have to be. There's no way around it. I mean, these little people are really, really relying on you and looking at you for everything. So take it seriously and just do your absolute best. Obviously, none of us are going to be perfect every day or any day, but that doesn't mean that we're not gonna try to be as perfect as we can. You know what I mean? Obviously, perfection is not the goal, but our best is the goal every single day. And that's what I'm trying to do. And so if that's something that you are trying to do for yourself, I really encourage you to subscribe again to this channel. That's what all these videos are being put out for. And that doesn't mean that we have to be rocket scientists. That doesn't mean we have to be multimillionaires. That doesn't mean anything other than what you think being the best version of you is. Maybe that means you don't obsess over cleaning as much. Maybe that means you let go of shopping addictions or trying to look a certain way that society expects you to look, or raise your kid a certain way that your mother-in-law expects you to raise them. I mean, it could be so many things. It is what you want it to be, but I'm just here to encourage you and tell you that yes, it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be totally worth it, and not just for your kids, but for you as an individual too. Please like this video, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much, so much for watching. It really helps my channel, and it really helps other women see this content and this encouragement that I'm trying to put out there in the world. So I appreciate you. Now go make it a great day, and I'll see you in my next video.